Ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister's voice rang across the Grand Hall. It is my honor to present the new President of the Republic, President Immanuel Patel. The room thundered with applause. Flashing cameras, smiling officials, proud chants of "Yes, we can!" But in the back of the crowd, an elderly Indian couple stood silently, tears in their eyes. Then suddenly, a loud voice interrupted the celebration. "Wait! Before we celebrate, I need to tell you the truth about who I am and where I came from." Everyone went silent. President Immanuel raised his hand. Because this story doesn't begin in politics. It begins with a baby, a black orphan, left at the gates of a grocery store, raised by people who didn't look like him. This is the story of the family who gave me everything when I had nothing. This is Immanuel. He's the president now, but he wasn't always celebrated. In fact, some people didn't even want him in their neighborhood. Others called him names because of his skin. But one Indian immigrant family took a chance on him, and that changed the world. Let's rewind to where it all started. 25 years earlier. It was just another humid morning in Jackson Heights, Queens. Maya and Raj Patel, Indian immigrants who had just moved from Mumbai, were opening their small corner shop. Life was hard. Bills stacked high. The shop barely made enough to cover rent. But they had each other. Then a sound, a soft cry. Maya opened the shop door and gasped. A baby, wrapped in a tattered blanket, left in a small basket with a note. "Please give him a better life than I could." Raj ran out, looked up and down the street. No one. He crouched next to Maya. "We need to call the police." But Maya was staring at the baby, his dark brown eyes, his tiny fists clenching in the cold. "No," she whispered, "we need to call God and ask him what to do." They took the baby in, called him Immanuel, which means God with us. People in the neighborhood whispered, "Why would Indians raise a black child? They should send him to foster care. That's not their responsibility." Even their own family back in India disapproved. But Maya and Raj stood firm. "He is ours now," Raj said. "Love is not about blood. It's about heart." Over the next few years, they faced hardship. Raj's shop was vandalized with racist graffiti. "Go back to your country." Immanuel was bullied in school for being the wrong color for an Indian kid. Maya lost her second pregnancy, but Immanuel held her hand through every tear. One night, when Immanuel was 12, he asked Maya, "Why don't I look like you?" She pulled him into her lap and said, "Because God made you extra special. He gave us the honor of raising someone destined for greatness." Immanuel never forgot that. High school graduation day. Immanuel stood on stage, valedictorian. Everyone clapped. But when it came time to apply to college, he faced rejection after rejection. One letter arrived with a handwritten note. "Your story is inspiring, but let's be honest, a black boy raised by Indian immigrants? That's not exactly presidential material." Immanuel held the letter tightly. Then he looked up at his parents. "I'm going to prove them wrong," he said. "All of them." And that's where Chapter 1 ends. Immanuel sat alone on the steps outside Columbia University, rejection letter in hand. Even with a perfect GPA, volunteer work, leadership awards, the answer was still no. "We regret to inform you." Those words haunted him. Not just from colleges, from people, from places, from life. Because no matter how hard he worked, his story confused people. Too black to be Indian? Too Indian to be fully accepted by black kids? Too ambitious to be ordinary? too ordinary to be accepted by the elite. One night, Raj walked in on Emmanuel staring blankly at the wall. He said quietly, "I'm not sure the world wants me." Raj sat beside him. "The world doesn't need to want you. You need to want the world." He put his hand on Emmanuel's shoulder. "You belong to God, not this system, so go make your own place." Emmanuel took those words seriously. He applied to a community college, worked 2 part-time jobs, and earned his way into Howard University. At Howard, something changed. People didn't laugh at his story. They leaned in. They listened. He ran for student council. Lost. Ran again. Lost again. Then won. And the day he won, a professor said to him, "You don't just lead, you inspire. And that's more dangerous than power. It's purpose." Fast forward to law school. Emmanuel met Marcus, charismatic, well-spoken, born into politics. They became inseparable, 2 young black men chasing change. They had a dream, run for city council together. But when the election came close, Marcus did something unforgivable. He leaked fake rumors that Emmanuel wasn't really black, accusing him of using his Indian parents to gain pity votes. The media tore him apart. Is Emmanuel Patel really one of us? Why does he hide his real parents? Emmanuel was crushed. Maya stopped eating. Raj barely slept. The house grew quiet. Until Emmanuel stood up one morning, opened the curtains, and said, "I'm going to tell my real story, on camera, on stage, raw, unfiltered, truth." He spoke in a town hall packed with cameras. And he said, "I am a black man, raised by an Indian family in a country that didn't know where to place me. But I know exactly who I am. I am loved. I am American, and I am not confused. I am complete." The crowd went silent. Then they erupted. That video was viewed 18 million times in 24 hours. From there, he won the city council seat, then state senator. Then he became the youngest lieutenant governor in the country. But behind every win, there was a whisper. He's different, not one of us. Is he using his story? Yet at every stage, he gave credit to Maya and Raj. They raised me when the world rejected me. Election night, 10:45. The news anchor stares into the camera. And with 97% of the votes counted, it's official. Emmanuel Patel has made history tonight as the first black man raised by Indian immigrants to become president of this country. People are crying in the streets, dancing, shouting, celebrating. But Emmanuel, he's pacing backstage, not smiling. A tear rolls down his cheek. He looks at Maya and Raj. "I can't do the speech yet, not until they know everything." Raj frowns. "Everything?" Emmanuel nods. "I need to tell the country the truth about the mother who left me, the betrayal, the racism, the real cost of becoming someone I never thought I could be." The screen cuts to black. A packed stadium. Cameras zoomed in. News anchors across the globe waiting. The president-elect stood still, staring at the stage like it was a battlefield. People chanted his name, "Emmanuel! Emmanuel!" But his heart was pounding, not from fear of the crowd, but from the truth he was about to tell. Before Emmanuel stepped out, his mind flashed to the moment that shaped him most. He was 3 years old, hungry, crying, alone at a bus stop. His mother had told him she'd be back in 5 minutes, but she never returned. Hours passed, then night, then a day. People walked past. No one stopped. Until Maya, in her colorful sari, stopped her car and said, "Who left you here, baby?" He didn't know the words. He just said, "Mama gone." Maya wrapped her shawl around him, picked him up, and whispered, "Well, I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere." Back to the present. Emmanuel stepped onto the stage. The crowd roared. He raised his hand and silence fell. Then he said, "Before I speak as your new president, I need to speak as the little boy who was abandoned and found again."